G'day TYT Sports team, my name is Dylan Cleary and I'm coming to you live from Arthur Ashe Stadium in Flushing Meadows. Well, not really, this is just a green screen. I thought I'd muck around and have some fun, but I wish I was in New York. What about you, Rafa? Yeah, wish you were in week 2? Sharapova, wish you'd have played? Yeah, thought so. Anyway, I am here doing a video recapping week 1 of the US Open, so let's dive straight in. So the first thing I want to talk about is Serena Williams, obviously. This is her home slam. This is the last slam of the year. She's currently holding all 4 slams, which isn't new to her whatsoever. She's won 4 in a row previously. She won the 2002 French Open through to the 2003 Australian Open. So this is the first time for her, though, to try and get all 4 in a calendar year. That's only something that 2 other women in the Open era have accomplished, with Margaret Court doing that in 1970 and Steffi Graf doing that in 1988. And if she can win the US Open this year, she will join those 2, and she will also tie Steffi Graf for 22 Grand Slam titles over her career, which would be amazing, and that would place her equal second, obviously with still many years to come for the rest of her career. Firstly, I don't like Serena whatsoever. I don't like her character on court, her sportsmanship, her demeanour. I think it's very poor, and I think that a lot of the time she gets away with her behaviour because, like many people who are good at what they do, they just get away with it scot-free. Like Tom Brady with his Deflategate, Luis Suarez with his biting and his racist allegations. That being said, being a tennis player as well, I cannot fault her tennis ability. She's got power and she's got movement, and she has both of those things in spades. She's an absolute freak. I think on tour there's about 5 girls maybe who have the potential to beat her, and for that to happen they've got to play excellent and Serena's got to play subpar. It's just how dominant she is in the field of women's tennis today. Possibly the most dominant female athlete on the planet, and has been doing it for an extremely long time. So at the moment, after week 1, the only person that's really in Serena's way is Serena. If she decides that this pressure is too much and it somehow gets to her, that's her biggest opponent really. The only person on tour I think that has the combination of speed, court movement and power that can rival her is Maria Sharapova, and didn't play the tournament, and also has lost her last 18 matches in a row against Serena, because Serena is that mentally strong. She's just in her head. Would take a lot for her to capitulate and to lose to Sharapova these days, I feel, or Sharapova playing exceptional tennis. Bringing me on to my second point. Rafael Nadal lost in his career for the first time in 152 matches when leading 2 sets to love. That stat is absolutely mind-blowing. That's just unreal. To be that consistent from being in a winning position and never letting that slip is absolutely astonishing. His mental strength, as well as obviously his prowess and his ability on the court, is borderline unparalleled. This year he hasn't played well by his stretch whatsoever, by his standards, and it's been visible. He lost in the Australian Open quarterfinals, lost in the quarterfinals of Roland Garros, which is the tournament that he's just absolutely dominated since he's come on the tour and played it for the first time 10, 11 years ago. And then he lost second round of Wimbledon. So by him, he hasn't had a great year whatsoever. His ranking slipped from 2 starting the year to drop down to, I think he entered the US Open seeded 8th. It's not been great for him whatsoever, but he lost for the first time in his career being up 2 sets to love. He lost to Fabio Fognini in round 3. I wouldn't say he choked or he faltered whatsoever. He was up a break in sets 3 and 4, but Fognini played some absolutely unbelievable tennis, and that has to be, he has to be commended for that, because he didn't just give the match to Rafa. 2 sets to love down against Rafa at a Grand Slam, it's easy to just throw that away saying, yep, not going to happen. Fabio stuck it to him, came back, played some unbelievable tennis. The tennis was high throughout, but for me, it's a great Grand Slam if Rafa and Serena are gone. That for me has happened. My favourite player is also gone, so it wasn't too much of a cherry on top, but hey, it was amazing tennis to see him, not just to go out, but just that quality of match was unreal. And I don't think he's been where he has been since winning last year's French Open. This is the first year in, I think, 11 years for Rafa on the tour where he's actually not won a Grand Slam. So for his standards, this is a poor, poor year. But I think tennis is better for it if he's strong and competing, and I hope that he does come back. And tennis is better for it because, yeah, he puts bums on seats, he plays entertaining tennis. Some of the matches he has with the guys like Federer, Djokovic and Murray is just, it's unreal. So like, they need him in later stages of tournaments to keep promoting and building it, but at the same time, young guys are now constantly looking at this saying, yeah, I can beat him. He's not that undefeatable presence that he used to be. So I think it's good for up-and-comers who are like 19, 20, who are breaking onto the tour, who have that ability. It gives them that sense of belief. And for a long time against Rafa, that was just smushed, crushed, and just obsolete. Like, that wasn't there at all. Number 3 is, for me, Andy Murray. Andy Murray made 18 consecutive Grand Slam quarterfinals, and he lost in round 4, which for me, I still count as first week. Round of 16 to me is still first week, so not seeing him in the second week of a slam is huge. Kevin Anderson played an absolutely brilliant match. There's nothing to be taken away from him. But Murray's built up that consistency for so long that you don't question him being in the second week. Yes, he didn't play great against Nick Kyrgios. He let Kyrgios sort of self-destruct, let Kyrgios beat himself. Played absolutely poorly for 2 sets against Manarino. Then realised, hey, it's the US Open, maybe I should show up. Then swept him in 3. And then in the 3rd round, again, didn't play fantastic against Bellucci, but it did enough in straight sets to get through. Came across Kevin Anderson. You sort of had this belief in the 3rd and 4th sets that maybe he would just scrape through, but to his credit, Anderson played a great match, came through, won that 4th set tiebreaker, 7-love, and that's just, against someone who returns the way that Murray does against Anderson's great serve, that's phenomenal to be able to be that strong mentally to hold on and to not choke when obviously you've got a Grand Slam winner like nipping at your heels trying to make you leave a Grand Slam early for when you're playing fantastic tennis. That was a big win for Kevin Anderson in his career. So yeah, there you have it, TYT. That's my recap of week 1. They are the 3 things that I thought were the biggest talking points for the US Open this year. Could have talked about another bunch of occurrences and whatnot. I could have talked about Donald Young and his re-emergence making the 4th round. Could have talked about the heat that forced a record 12 withdrawals over the first round for both men and women. Could have talked about Nick Kyrgios finally not being a clown. I mean, he did only play 1 match and Murray beat him, but still, he was contained for that 1 match and didn't get suspended, which, hey, good for him. He's a great player, but that's my review of week 1 of the US Open, and I will bring you week 2. Hopefully we have something other to talk about than Novak Djokovic winning another slam for an umpteenth time. I think Fed's playing great at the moment. Obviously, the nostalgia around him and his comparisons to Sampras. I think it would be great if he could win 1 more slam. He's playing fantastic tennis at the moment. Then again, you have Stan the Man Wawrinka playing insane tennis. It's been a great tournament so far, and I hope the second week can live up to that. And on the women's side, Serena's in a class of her own, and if she stays out of her own head, doesn't let this pressure get to her, I think she really has a fantastic shot of being a calendar slam winner and equaling Steffi Graf's record of 22 slams, which would be absolutely huge if she could do that in her own late slam. I think the fans would be absolutely backing her beyond belief, and I truly think that she probably will do this because her level of tennis at the moment, especially heading into the second weeks of Grand Slams, only just gets higher and higher. She's that good. So yeah, that's my video. My name's Dylan Cleary. I hope you understood some of this. I know one of your presenters, Mr. Francis Maxwell, is Scottish, so I would like to think somebody understood some of the words in this. If not, I'll have another video for you in a few days and you'll get to not understand me again for a whole nother bunch of minutes. So yeah, thanks very much guys, and I'll be back to talk to you about week 2 shortly. Cheers. Thumbs up friend for in-betweeners references for those who watch the show.